Hey everybody, Zach Wolf here with another great Top 5 Tuesday. This week on Top 5 Tuesday, it's the top 5 unsustainable time management strategies for people like me who provide professional services. Why am I limiting this to professional services? Well, I'm a lawyer, that's what I do, that's what I know, so I thought I would speak to that, and hopefully this might be helpful for other lawyers or other people who are in the business of essentially selling your time and your services. So, number 5 is to delegate everything to somebody else. This is a great idea in theory, right? You in professional services, you bring in the business, then you delegate the work to somebody else. The problem, of course, is that the person who hired you probably came to you primarily because you're good at what you do, and they want you to provide the service. So, yeah, you can delegate to some extent, but delegation by itself isn't necessarily going to solve your time management problems. The number 4 unsustainable time management strategy is just to get less sleep. And this is something I've done in the short term many times, and I'm sure many of you have as well. When there's too much work to do and you've just got to get it done, you spend more time on the work and you just spend less time sleeping. This is not a good long-term strategy though. And if you pursue this long-term, you are not likely to be successful. And unfortunately, there's a lot of talk and literature out there, especially in the entrepreneurial world, where there's this attitude that to be a successful entrepreneur, you've got to sleep just 4 hours a day and be working constantly. That might work for a few select people, but for the average person like me, getting less sleep is just not going to be effective. If anything, it's going to backfire because you're going to be less effective during the time you do spend on your work. The number 3 unsustainable time management strategy is to spend less time on business development. This has probably happened to you. What recently happened to me, I had some success with my business development efforts. I brought in new business, and then suddenly I've got too much work to do. And so the natural thing to do in that situation is you focus on the client work and you stop spending time on the business development efforts that got you the work in the first place. The problem, of course, is that then when you're spending all your time just doing the work, you're not doing the business development you need to get more work in the pipeline. So long term, that is not a viable time management strategy. The number 2 unsustainable time management strategy, if you provide professional services, is just to spend less time on anything outside of your work. Just work more hours. Again, this is something that we've all had to do in the short term, but at my age, I've realized that in the long term, that strategy is not going to make you happy. And if you're unhappy, then you're probably not going to be effective in your work anyway. So I don't think just cutting out the time you spend on personal things is going to be a sustainable time management strategy. And finally, the number 1 unsustainable time management strategy, if you're like me and you provide professional services, that is to cut down on your family time. Or if you don't have a family, maybe it's time with your friends who may effectively be like your family. Whatever it is, whatever your family looks like, it's usually an easy thing to cut down time with those people, because those people are going to hopefully be there for you anyway. The problem, of course, is that if you cut down on family time in the short term, eventually the short term turns into the long term. And guess what? Especially if you have kids, they grow up really fast. And if you're cutting out the family time in order to get your work done, before you know it, your kids are going to be grown and you will have missed out on them growing up. And they'll probably be fine, but this will be bad for you. You will miss out and regret it if you cut out too much family time. So that's not a sustainable time management strategy. So what do you think of my critique of these unsustainable time management strategies? Let me know. Hit that like button or leave me a comment, or even better, share this video with someone you know who you think might like it. And hey, thanks for watching.